Thousands of parents lose custody of their children to Child Protection Services, which is the government by implication, on a yearly basis for things they knew nothing about were illegal. One single mistake, and that is all. The child is gone. The process begins. Thank you for joining the podcast again. If you're a returning subscriber, we appreciate you being part of this community. And if you're meeting our video for the very first time, we enjoy you to share this, because this is where we share informed tips on how to take care of your children and how to be able to help yourself through the process of training your children, and what to do when your child gets into care and what to avoid to prevent the child being taken into care. We'll be discussing briefly today on the reason why your child can easily be taken into care. And in the process, I am going to be talking to us about things that the Child Protection Services usually will be looking out for before they take your child into care. And it is going to be very advisable that you stick to those things, because you're ignorant of this fact. The fact that you do not know that this thing can lead to your child being taken into care do not make sense to them. From your own end, it could be that as simple as that you're tired, you want to quickly do this and get away with it and come back, because the child won't be hurt within the space of 5 minutes. Just like leaving your child in the car, and then you feel that you get into the store to get something, and you leave a child who cannot take care of themselves in the case of emergency for 5 minutes, and a good Samaritan sees you doing that, gets his or her phone, call the Child Protection Services, and the child is gone. It's as simple as that. Single mistake and the child is gone. To your own definition, you may feel it's just that you are tired, you feel you could just arrange, this is your child, the child knows you. But to the Child Protection Services, it is purely the case of neglect. I just feel that a lot of people are not properly informed, and that is the reason why we have all of this thing we're talking about today. I'm going to be sharing with you some tips, some of the things. We may not exhaust it because of the length of the video. I don't intend to take much of your time, but I feel that if you have these tips in your hand and you know what can potentially take your child away from you, you'll be better prepared for it, and next time you will do better. And I hope that you stick to the end of this video, and at the end you get more of the tips. One of the reasons why your child can be taken away from you is the issue of neglect. The myth out there is that it is until you hit your child is being beaten up, your child is being given to a kind of injury all over the body and all that, that is the only time the Child Protection Services will just come and take your child away from you. No. In our lesson, I was talking about the situation of safeguarding. Anything that compromises safety of the child is categorized as safeguarding concern. And once that is identified with the child that is under your custody, whether as your child or you are the guardian, whatever, the government has a responsibility to come for them immediately. And that is the reason why you must have understanding of what the things are that could easily take the child away from you. We're talking about neglect. That's point one. Neglect, it can come in many ways. You are meant to, a child is sick or meant to keep an appointment, and you keep missing the appointment of that child. It's a clear sign of neglect. It means you prioritize your work or whatever that is keeping you away from taking the child for that, to keep that appointment. You can't tell them you feel that the child is well. You book appointment for the child, or the child has immunization, for instance, or is going through a process, and then the child is meant to be brought in for treatment for a certain period of time, and the date that they fix appointment, and the appointment is live with them. They see, they're waiting for the child. The child misses appointment the first time. You give reasons why you didn't come back from work on time, or you didn't have enough time because you had to attend to other issues that are more pressing by your definition. All of these are clear signs to whether the GP or the pediatrician or whichever appointment is supposed to keep with the child. Medical appointment is a very easy way of calling the Child Protection Services to come for your child that you are actually negligent of what you are doing, meaning that you do not care for the child. And because you do not care for the child Protection Services will be called upon to come over and take the child, because they feel that you are more busy in what we are doing. You no longer care for the child, which is very critical by the standard of the government, that this child cannot care for themselves. And because as a parent, you are negligent, you don't want to care about it, they go straight and your child is taken away. Another thing is the domestic violence. The child may not directly be hurt. I spoke briefly about it in my last episode. Domestic violence. You beat the mother, you beat the child, or the mother beat, because it's not always one side, that the man will be the one beating the woman. We've had the case where the women, because they feel that the man may not all men anyway, may not be able to retaliate by getting back at them, they get back at their husbands. And then you keep doing battering and hitting one another. The house is very hot every time. There is quarreling, shouting. What you are causing for that child, because it's a child, you are causing what we call the childhood trauma in the life of that child. In that episode, we're going to be talking about what childhood trauma does to your child. Now, the moment it is discovered, the child is witnessing violence. What you are creating for yourself, you are creating a ground of removal for that child, because the child continuously it could be the abuse can be emotional. That is emotional abuse you are causing that child. And that emotional abuse, if you really to see what the child goes through when they are subjected to an emotional abuse, when the parents are always creating an environment of violence for them, it's very painful for them. They don't want to change their parents, go through all of that, because you are creating an environment for them, giving them the only option that when there is disagreement between two parties, the only way to address it is to go violent. That's exactly the picture you are creating in their mind, and that is the only option you leave for them. And when they grow under such environment, what happens to them very easily is that you see them batter their partner, batter colleagues, batter friends, because they have short disagreement, something that would have been discussed and overlooked, or discussed and settled over a cup of drink and all of that, or tea. They go over with it, and the next thing you see, the child grows under that, and you have battered and destroyed the life of the child. Another one is substance abuse. Now, it is very easy for us to run conclusion. You don't do drugs. Even to the point of illegal prescription. Abuse of legal prescribed medication can also lead to substance abuse. Substance abuse is taking it out of measure. There are societies where marijuana is legalized, and you take it out of context, and then you misbehave. A lot of parents are deeply involved in that today. As simple as you may think, you're getting drunk, and then you come back home, your sense of judgment is abused. Your sense of judgment is messed up. You're no longer mentally stable to be able to take care of the children, to take the right decision for them, because what it means is that as a parent and the children are under your custody, what it simply means is that you are controlling your life. You are also helping to guide them through the process. So you are having two responsibility. If you have two responsibility, one is already abused, which is your own now, by alcohol and influence of the drugs you've taken. What it simply means is that the one for the children is going to be lost. You cannot be in the right state of mind to help them properly to take the right decision, to guide them through the process, which is by extension the training. So that is also, you are creating the ground for the removal of your child. Now we're talking about mental health. This is one thing that must be taken very seriously. You have a lot of things. You have meltdown. You are going into depression. You have some mental health challenge. It could be as a result of the kind of work you do. It can be as a result of the pain you are going through. It can be as a result of the loss of a loved one. It can be a result of anything. It can be medically orchestrated. It can be anything. But the Child Protection Services will not see it as mental health issue if you go for therapy. When you go for therapy, it means that you are showing sufficient concern to be able to get away from it and be helped out of it. You are going for medical attention. You are talking to the right persons that are supposed to help you out of it. It means that will be taken down that you have mental health challenge, but you are making effort to get away from it. That is exactly what they expect you to do. But when you neglect your appointment as well, you refuse to go in for that, and at the end of the process, the whole thing degenerates. Because when you have mental health challenge, it becomes very difficult to be able to help these young ones. And so because of that, you are creating an environment where the Child Protection Service will feel that this one is not mentally ready. It's not prepared to be able to leave these children in their custody, because the training of children is actually a very serious business. And so if you are not prepared for it, you are not supposed to be allowed to do that. And at the cost of all of this, the child may be taken away from you. Another one that is very common, I said it passingly in the course of my introduction, is leaving your children or leaving a child in a car for even as little as 5 minutes. A child that cannot take care of themselves in the case of emergency. We've had cases where children were left in the car in some Western world, And then the parent just walked away, and what they said was they were going to get back, and there was an incident, and the child got just suffocated there, and the child died. The Child Protection Service will not take that as an excuse because you said you want to do it within a very short time. I just left just 2 minutes and I'm back now. That is a very big red flag for them. They'll come for that child, because what it means is that the child who cannot take care of themselves, within the space of that 5 minutes, there could be an emergency, and then the child do not know what to do, and the child is lost. They are trying to protect them, guide them, give them all the kind of protection that is needed until they get to a point where they are adult and they can take decisions for themselves. And that's all you need. If you are careless about that, you're not careful about it, that can be grooming life. Maybe you've done that in the past and you've escaped it. You need to watch out. That could be the reason why your child can be taken away from you. You might be very good, you're a very good parent, you take care of your children very well, you give in everything, you train them well, they are respectful, you are happy with the way they are growing, you are doing your best back home. But the simple fact that you can leave them alone in the car for as little as 5 minutes, and any good Samaritan around can just pick the call and call the Child Protection Services, the child is gone. Another thing is, I also mentioned in the course of the introduction, that when you come in to the house and you feel that I want to go to the grocery shop, maybe to Tesco, maybe to Sainsbury, maybe to any of the shops around, and this child, you put the TV on for them and you say you can go and watch, I can stay away for as long as I can. If it gets to the notice of any good Samaritan, anybody, and the Child Protection Services are aware that you leave these children who do not have capacity to be able to take decision in the case of emergency, that child is taken away from you. And because it boils down to neglect, it boils down to all of that you're taking the proper care of the children. You no longer prioritize their safety. Because like I said, safeguarding is the major reason. And all I've just discussed with you, they're all the issue of safeguarding. False accusation. As the word may appear, a lot of us may commonize that. But that's a lot of people have gone into care. I'll give you an instance. A young person, she's 12. I used to know of this person. The child went and lied because the parent had issue. The both parent had issue, and then the mom felt the dad had already walked away, and she wasn't happy about that, and then put the child in the very compromised position to tell lies. Because once the child says anything, the Child Protection Services definitely will believe them first, because the children are known to be very innocent. They don't know anything. They don't understand anything. They can easily be manipulated. And so the child was manipulated, and they went ahead to say that the dad, the father, wanted to rape her or is trying to sexually abuse her. And that was the ground the child was taken into care. Unfortunately, what happened on the other side of being in care for that child is a different kettle of fish that we may not talk about in a particular episode. But what really happened when the child passes all of that? The reality is this: when the child passes an accusation on you, something is wrong. And that is why we're going to be discussing that in our subsequent episode, that you need to work hard to build what we call a positive relationship with your child. There need to be a sincere bonding between you and your child, to the point that the child will be empathic, even as young as the child may be, have empathy for you, that if I told this lie against my parent, it's going to be very dirty for them, it's going to be very difficult for them, they are going to suffer the consequence, even though I'm going to be taking away, the emotional pain will be too big for the parent to bear. You must get to a point where you can leave that kind of impression on your children. There have to be that trust that you build with your children. In the course of our discussions, subsequent bulletin, we're going to be talking about that, where we talk about how to build that positive relationship with your children, so that when you get to that place, we can understand how to build that trust with children, where you can be very sure, be safe that things are working out for you, because you've been able to train your children, not shouting at them, not forcing them to remain to tell lies even to protect you, but that they should be able to stand and understand that telling lies against the parents can get them into care, and the parents can be in trouble. Finally, like I said, inappropriate social media posts. In these days of social media where anybody can post anything, some parents are even displaying some inappropriate appearance on the social media. You can imagine somebody who wants the parent who want people to get to know them, people to get to like their page and like their video and all of that, in the name of trying to be on the social media. Some are even stripping themselves naked. Some are smoking, even when they're not even smoking physically, they just smoke for people to see that we can do all of this. We have this, we are slaying queen, and we are doing this, we are doing that. When you do all of that, a single social media post that is inappropriate for children is enough ground to take your children away from you. And I feel that one thing that people should know is a very simple thing. Conduct yourself right, because what you are leaving for these children is exactly what they are going to give out tomorrow. And I am assuring you that those children will definitely be exactly what you want them to be if you try. And I tell you, it will be well. Thank you. We're going to be talking more in our next episode on tips on how to take care of your children and how to stay away from having your children being taken away by all the child protection services, which is by extension the government. Thank you. Share this video to your family, friends in the Western world, even back in your country, wherever they are. It will help them, because we are going to be churning out tips on how to train your children and how to manage challenging behavior that may come out from them that can be frustrating at some point. Will help you. Thank you very much. See you in the next episode. Bye for now.